Masha Allah, bari mu dan kira sauran su shigo.
To,
Sai mu ci.
vale. Ko mu dan jira ne, kun gama sun fito sai mu hau. Ko?
Hello, Mama. Mamutla.
Mun dan koma gefe mu buyan sun shirya sai mu hau.
To ga
Honorable Dr. Yusuf Megari.
Yawa sai malam. Ko za mu fara in sun shigo sai a rika.
To shikenan.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu شرور أنفسنا وأعمالنا ما يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. My name is Dr. Lalo Al-Shagauri. I'm going to be the moderator of theme development. Jigawa State, our dear state, is a state that was endowed with both human and resources. The natural to the wetland and rivers in Hadija, the rocks and sand dunes in the arid and vast land. The fertile lands of Ningim, all we need to do is to the idea of holding this event was conceived by my brother and colleague Sadiq Ali Ahmad almost a year ago. The aim of this event is to bring the people of the State together, connect and network in order to foster more unity while focusing towards the today, inshallah, we are going to have this discussion with these important personalities. Honorable Yusuf Megari, Abubakar Sani Birnin Kudu, Dr. Muhammad, and Honorable What we are going to discuss is the main event that is towards unity and cumulative development. Each and every one of the presenters or discussants has a topic which I will now call upon our father, Honorable Yusuf Mokadi, who is the Director of Programs and Studies, Manpower Development Institute. He was the manager of new project, investment and property, a former commercial Kano Agricultural Supply Company, 1990 to 1990. A former General of Natural Resources, Jigawa State, 1990. It was the former Commissioner Ministry of Agriculture, Jigawa State, 1994. A former lecturer at Kano State Polytechnic from 2000. And he is still practicing management consultancy work and linguistic programming. He holds BSc in economics from University Zaria, postgraduate certificate in marketing and development from Manchester University Business School. Also MBA in human and organizational psychology. I introduce you Honorable Yusuf Maigari, who is going to be our lead discussant to introduce his topic and Baba Yusuf Maigari, you are welcome to the stage. Maria, you mute
Assalamu alaikum. Okay.
We are waiting for the speaker, Honorable Yusuf Maigari. But I think his mic was muted. Rick, can you call Baba Yusuf Maigari and tell him that his mic is muted?
Yes.
Otherwise, you can go ahead.
Okay.
You can go ahead. You have 15 minutes.
Philippe. Sorry, Dala, I have to remove one from there, please. When I will remove it, otherwise.
Honorable, you are audible.
Okay. All right, I'm on. This presentation is about the imperative of collective intelligence and system thinking for development of the Jigawa state and the nation. And it has the following learning objectives. It
is okay, Doctor, we can hear you.
All right, okay. So we have corrected the situation. I think we'll be okay by now. So our learning objectives for this particular presentation, which is relatively short, about 15 minutes, is as follows. That is, at the end of this important presentation, participants should be able to do the following. Number one, define key terms used in this particular presentation. Number two, discuss the concept of collective intelligence, system thinking, system intelligence, and describe how they could be, enhanced, or how they could enhance, human societal development and sustainability. And then identify examples about required mindset, planning method, application of such concepts, and the benefits attainable by adopting them. And then list and categorize system thinking competencies and how to apply them to attain collective empowerment and societal development in Jigawa State. By way of introduction, system thinking has the benefit of creating a situation of peaceful living and progress for the people of Jigawa State because it is allowable within the semi-autonomous context of the Nigerian federalism for states to create beneficial changes to improve the lot of their own people. Indeed, it's all about designing and creating an imagined and attainable future for our people and for our own state, and implement a unique system of running our affairs better with improved bureaucracy and administrative laws and policies to increase the political, social, and economic development of our own state. In fact, the reason for this presentation is to invite our people to accept the concept of system thinking and practice its realistic rules so that ours can become the most prosperous state in Nigeria. I believe we can make it by the grace of God when we strive hard for it. Note that we shall come across other related terms that often interchangeably used with system thinking, such as system approach, system theory, and system models, etc., etc. Definition of terms. There are some terms that we will define for the better understanding of this particular presentation. Collective intelligence means creating a focused, convergent thinking from the easier occurring divergent thinking of many individual persons. And then collective stupidity means the opposite of collective intelligence, i.e. repeating the same societal mistake generation after generation while progress is happening vividly elsewhere. And then system thinking means a cognitive process of articulating a comprehensive entity, e.g. an organization with various systems and subsystems that can work well in a sustainable way. And then system intelligence means a system that seems to possess a mind of its own and appears to be correcting itself like the natural open market operation, even without much intervention. Like Adam Smith says, those of us who are economists will know. A system is an entity that is more than the sum of its parts and has resilience for redefining and changing situations and events to create systematic progress, maintenance, and sustainability. More on collective intelligence in relation to this particular topic of ours. Collective intelligence is a kind of wisdom, knowledge that grows out of group community when people work together to create a type of intelligence that is beyond the individual level. It's a group phenomena in which the intelligence of each individual merges into a larger form of societal intelligence. What I mean by societal intelligence, the society it becomes, itself becomes more intelligent collectively. Collective intelligence is related to making decisions together, forming a consensus, crowdsourcing different ideas and questions, and motivating people via a healthy level of competition to create wonderful results and synergy. The primary difference between individual intelligence, IQ, and collective intelligence, CQ, is the ability of groups to achieve unity of purpose and action and thoughts. Terms, teams and high level of CQ achieve a state of interdependence and collective flow when they work together. The volunteer minds like ours that come to form the initial collective intelligence think tanks will actually influence the whole society, because the common pool of knowledge we shall create could be accessed by all members for consensus acceptance and implementation. Next slide is a source of collective intelligence, which I will just browse through quickly in order to save time. Source of primal origin of things and source of collective intelligence. It all started for us, the religious subscribers, from creation of by the Almighty of whatever things that does exist. Or in the case of the atheist, they consider the chance happening, which we do not subscribe to. Why? Because evolutionary causes of the universe to us is creation, not chance happening. So humans, by our nature, we ask questions, we are curious, we want to solve mysteries and what have you. That is the starting point. And that's the reason why we try to find out what kind of techniques, technology, and science we shall create. What art, because we started with art, which is much less complicated than technology and science. And then philosophy, we graduated into philosophy, and then more further into sciences. We discover weapons, we discover art of writing, then various other things that we do. Whoever goes into this will understand and easily analyze what we are talking about. So at the end of the day, all we are trying to do is to improve the concept of human collective intelligence for the benefit of humanity. Collective intelligence as a source of collective empowerment in society means, it is a tool. A collective intelligence enables, sharing of perceptions, focus, and imagination among the members of the society, and improves the capacity of the citizens to imbibe the spirit of continuous learning and create a learning society. Learning society is developed by engaging multifaceted exploration and researches and a thoroughly planned education system in which knowledge is effectively documented and cognitively communicated to as many people as possible. Indeed, as per the famous saying, in learning navigation, there is no landing. The ICT revolution is proving this, was the fastest way of acquiring knowledge ever globally. As a process, collective intelligence opens the mind of citizens to collective learning and creativity, developing repository of knowledge, facilitating exchange of knowledge, and creating various corporations and cooperations, groups, units, and what have you, that will compete and excel in using knowledge and techniques to produce high quality goods and services in the society. As an art, collective intelligence will enhance the discovery and use of multi-types of intelligent potential of the citizens in order to create collaborative productivity of the society. Indeed, need for collective intelligence cannot be overemphasized for progressive thinking and maintenance of societal resources. Collective intelligence is a survival asset, as we know, that we have potential for as a species. And it's very possible to develop systematically. Ironically, we also have the potential for developing collective stupidity too, e.g., when we discard our survival instinct and resign to the side of non-action because of faulty belief in destiny. Each one of us has a special kind of individual intelligence capabilities, but these capabilities will not come together until we plan and bring them together willingly. Therefore, what we, the system society members, believe, value, and think about will sooner or later manifest by the grace of God, as in the famous expression, as you think, so you shall become. Indeed, we have to act, because if we wish, Because if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. Unfortunately, it's not the truth. The truth. Most Africans, Nigerians, and Jigawa state citizens have for long remained wishers, but not true actors with the reality of life. We'll take the example of China in the next slide. The new China collective intelligence model is a very serious practical example. First, there was a cultural design and cultural revolution spearheaded by Mao Zedong, which was not all that successful. It has so many flaws and what have you. Then later they graduated into a cognitive system of trying to educate the people more so that a design will be made for the society. And then, of course, work attitude with no stagnation of mindset, always trying to think higher and higher, has been replaced later on with continuous learning and, of course, adding value and more value to whatever has been done and design-oriented society where they design and design and design. This design keeps on the fire for progress for the Chinese people. And Deng Xiaoping, the architect of modern China, from 1978 to 1992, was the father of all this development. He was a very good economist and was a person with a very high and far foresight. He created a market economy reform, one-child policy, compulsory education, execution of criminals. Those are to be executed. These were the driving force and progress, some of the few that have helped China to achieve its own, improvement. Meaning of system and subsystem. I will rush on this very quickly because people can easily read it after I send all those. But I will discuss the characteristics of good system. It should be goal-seeking, holistic, with internal hierarchy and contingency plans. It has inputs, throughputs, and outputs. It is capable of transforming inputs into outputs in a precise, efficient, and effective manner. And the systems create and or consume energy. Also, they are susceptible to atrophy or disorder. So they need to be organized and be orderly. And they could have complexity, certainly. And they have feedback, loop system, as I have shown in the diagram that preceded this particular slide, and are
Thank you very much,
relatively
sir.
quick. Okay,
You have 5 more
okay,
minutes.
okay, I'll rush. So these are some of the details, and I will go to the next slide about
Yeah.
synergy. Synergy about increasing energy level within the system, heighten the interaction, and what have you. And then examples, people with different talents and what have you, brain power, they come together in order to help create a synergy for the society. And then, of course, the energy should have, all systems should be open, not closed system, in order to benefit from the inputs, throughput, and output. So systems require energy in order to exist, which could be sourced internally, externally, naturally, synthetically. However, if a major function or one of the functions is left out in a development kind of equation, for example, demography, the other functions will not work well. And this will be detrimental to the overall progress of the total system. The example of China is an empirical example we can cite. Organized system is meant to avoid disorder because disorder is part of life and it has to be corrected. The origin of this particular theory about uncertainty principle in the quantum mechanics and thermodynamics was done by Weber Hessenberg. And also it was borrowed from the work of Ludwig Boltzmann, who killed himself in 1906 when his fellow scientists refused to understand his own concept, unfortunately. So energy is usually unorganized and has to be organized, and it should be made to be available, and the system has got to be organized in such a way that disorder will be minimized and what have you. You can go through the details all on this. So when the goal of one or more member are in opposition to the system's goal, the process of organizing will disrupt itself. So people have got to work together in order to create a better synergy. People must work to do, in order to provide the capacity. So when our people are not working, they are idle, they are unemployed, then we do not have a good system and we cannot benefit from that kind of synergy and what have you. So finally, systems and subsystems are maintained only by great effort and by a lot of energy exchanges internally and externally with their environment. That is our environment. This is how order can prevail against disorder in the whole system. Imperative of system thinking. These are some of the benefits, So such perceptions are based on beliefs, spiritual philosophy, and what have you, our value system, our boundaries, what we can do, what we cannot do, what we like, what we do not like, and then our chances or ability to choose from alternatives. Because if you don't have alternatives, then you are stuck, and our limitations and what have you. This is also some details which I do not have the time to discuss. This diagram is a very good diagram for explaining things, but it can only be done in an open situation whereby we have hours maybe to discuss. So when do we need a system thinking? These are the times when we shall need a system thinking. And then I go to the next slide. What do system thinking enable us to do? And these are what it enables us to do. And then I go to still what it enables us to do. When you read, this particular paper that I will send to you, you'll be able to get that. And then system thinking for the common good. This also is explainable. When you read it, you can easily go through it and understand it fully. So system intelligence is also one thing which I explained, that the society itself has its own innate intelligence, which is given by its own people, as if it were like in the open market. The market seems to be operating on its own. So the society has this wonder, which is really mysterious even to the scientists.
Thank you.
How it works.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay. Finally,
Thank
I would
you
like
very
to
much, Honorable Yusuf Megari.
Okay.
Your time is
Yes. If only I can conclude. System thinking is like a tree with many roots and many branches. It has feedback and continuity, as a core of that particular system. Thinking in models, thinking in processes, studying the system. System thinking abilities and mindsets are dearly needed, yet hard to develop, even among highly educated persons. System diagrams are crucial for system thinking, communication, and what have you. Then the causal loops in the model and what have you are also very important, as well as roadmaps as a tool to the system. And system thinking should be a guiding idea for any education and at any age, in the society. Therefore, in our ever crowding and rapidly changing Jigawa state, there is need to strengthen system thinking practices and manage systems culture and encourage the right mindset in both problem identification and solution design. So these are the closing remarks. You can read them. So thank you very much for listening. I'm through.
Thank you very much, Honorable Yusuf Megari, for
You
this
are welcome.
wonderful, educative, and informative presentation. We hope
You are welcome.
viewers, you can send your questions through the comment section. In the end, we will read all the questions and directed them to the presenters. Our next presenter is Dr. Abubakar Muhammad Sani Burnunkudu. Dr. Abubakar Muhammad Sani is a lecturer at Ahmad Bello University, Zaria, in the Faculty of Education, Department of Arts and Social Sciences Education. He had his formal education at Government College, Kaduna in 1983, then had a diploma in accounting from Ahmad Bello University in 1996, and he worked as a bookkeeper in the Kano State Agricultural and Rural Development Authority in the former Kano State. He later proceeded to Islamic University of Medina in Saudi Arabia, in 1992, where he obtained his undergraduate degree in Sharia in 1996, Master in Islamic Theology 2001, and PhD in Islamic Theology in the same university in the year 2009. In August 2019, the Jigawa State Governor appointed him as the Executive Secretary of Jigawa State Islamic Education Bureau in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, a position he holds today. He is currently the Chief Imam of Dusa Central Mosque, a member of Dusa Emirate Council and the same Emirate Council. He's also a member of Technical Advisory Council on Takaful Insurance in National Insurance Committee. He attended various local and international conferences. His topic is social and cultural dimensions of unity and development based on Islamic injection. Malam, hope you are ready. Assalam. Let me invite Malam to the studio.
Okay.
For his presentation. Simply.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Studio. Okay, he's back.
I'm back. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah.
Malam, bismillah.
Okay, I've already started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I hope you are hearing me.
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah. The topic I'm going to be discussing is about social and cultural dimensions of unity and development, and an Islamic perspective. Human development is a phenomenon that has been the vital and viable goal of all human race on earth. And one fundamental factor of achieving that meritorious goal is the issue of unity. That is because one underlying element and characteristic of the human being is his social nature. Just like they say in Arabic, al-insanu madaniyun bi nafsihi. That is, the human being is naturally civil, naturally social. In order to live and lead a successful life, one must interact with another person. No single individual can live on earth alone without recourse to the help, support, inclusion, acceptance, cooperation, exchange of needs, exchange of values, learning, giving and receiving, etc. In fact, the human being cannot live without somebody with whom to talk to discuss issues, to exchange ideas, and somebody who will at least answer to his call. Otherwise, he will fall psychologically ill. In living together, people must accept from others and put through what others will accept from them. Compromises are necessary in order to forge a smooth and systematic living together. Nations are built upon the determination to achieve common goals, regardless of ethnic, racial, and social differences in status. It is only in Islam that we find the most uniting factor of the human race. In Islam, the racial differences, even though have their impact in shaping and molding culture and behavior, they are not the determining factor of success, particularly in the hereafter. They are rather put in the fitrah. When we say fitrah, the ulama in Islam they use the word fitra to discuss the natural dispensation upon which Allah created man. They are put in the fitra just as tools of identification and for better understanding of one another. That is why Allah SWT says, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. O mankind, we have indeed created you from a single soul of males and female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know each other. Indeed, the best among you is he who is most pious. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in another verse has indicated clearly how he has come to mend the whole of the Arabs and the non-Arabs into one community. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَإِنْ كَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Indeed, Allah has conferred a great favor on the believers when He sent among them a messenger, that is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from among themselves, reciting unto them His verses, that is the Quran, and purifying them, purifying the souls, because purifying the soul is the foundation of any development. When you have good people, you have a good society. Purifying them from sins by their following Him and instructing them in the book, that is the Quran, al-hikmah, that is the wisdom and the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah says in the end, while before that they had been in manifest error. The Arabs were in manifest error before that time because they were living in the period that is termed the period of Jahiliyyah. The period of Jahiliyyah, the period of ignorance, not only ignorance, but the period of disorder, periods of calamity, periods of the human degradation, when the human being is not even aware of that, of the fact that he's a human being. In other verses of the Quran, we find the most unifying factor is the issue of taqwa, that people should come together. The more you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a better servant, the more you are successful in anything you do. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also has discussed the issue and has practically shown how people can develop, and that will only be possible by being united. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came to Medina, he met the people of Medina, particularly the Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj, in social disarray, in disorder, divided, fundamentally divided in almost anything, in war. They had been engaged in war of about 120 years. When the Prophet ﷺ came, he united them in the name of Islam. And that is why even Allah SWT in the Quran was reminding the people, the faithful, that وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً. Remember the favor and bounty of Allah upon you when you were enemies. Because at the time before the coming of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were enemies in Medina. They engaged in wars between themselves. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam practicalized the ability of the human being to live with one another, even if they have diverse culture, diverse understanding, and diverse and different tribes and races. That is why he is saying, as reported in the hadith, the Arab is not better than the non-Arab. لا فضل لعربي على عجمي ولا لعجمي على عربي ولا لأبيض على أسود. The Arab is not better than the non-Arab. The white is not better than the black. This is the foundation upon which Islam is built, and that is why development came, as we are going to discuss, inshallah. So we are all from Adam, and Adam came by the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the clay, from the mud. The base of the human race is the one that always remember this unchangeable origin, an origin that was determined for him with no choice of his or of his parents, one who always keeps in mind that the geographical dwelling place of his parents, the choice of his sex, the biological lineage of his parents and grandparents, the color of the skin, the physical structure, sight, posture, etc. are all determined by the Creator. No one has been bestowed of the ability and the wherewithal to decide on any of the foregoing. That is why it is a grave sin to critique, to ridicule, to blame someone on the ground of any of these natural dispositions, because they are part of what is called acts of Allah. They are acts of Allah, and acts of Allah are all good. No one can critique and blame Allah for creating somebody black, to blame Allah for creating another person white, for creating things the way they are. Everything Allah has done is good. That is why the Prophet ﷺ, has said in the hadith, وَالشَّرُّ لَيْسَ إِلَيْكَ. In one of the dua, the supplication the Prophet ﷺ say usually, he said, وَالشَّرُّ لَيْسَ إِلَيْكَ, meaning anything bad, any evil is not attributable to you. So the issue of the nature in which we have been created is nothing to go by, nothing to look into. Only we look into it to understand one another, not to blame each other. No one has been bestowed of the ability and wherewithal to decide on any of the foregoing. That's like I said, that is why it is a grave sin to critique, ridicule, or blame someone on the ground of any of these natural dispositions, because they are part of what is called the action of Allah. One is only praised or blamed on account of his own actions or inactions. That is why knowledge is divided into two. In Islam, we have knowledge of the actions of Allah, that is to do with rububiyyah, and the issue of predestination, that is al-iman bil-qadar. We believe in predestination. These are to be believed in, to be accepted, not to be ridiculed, not to be rejected. No one can reject them. The other side of knowledge is the knowledge about al-amru wal-nahi. Al-amru wal-nahi is the commands of Allah, what Allah has commanded us to do, and what He has prohibited us. Something is wrong somewhere. Is something wrong there? I'm hearing myself coming back, echoing back. It's not from me, eh? It's not from me. Oh, it's okay. The second part of the knowledge is, but it is disturbing me here. What is wrong? Okay. Can I continue? Can I go on?
I think you can.
It's okay. But I don't know whether I was clear before. Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear from this angle.
It's okay. Just
Yeah,
like I have,
we can hear you now.
we can hear you now. It's okay. Just like I have mentioned a while ago, knowledge is divided into two. That is information to do with the creation and qadar. These are to be accepted and believed in. The second one is the ilm to do with, all the knowledge to do with al-amru wal-nahyu, that is the commands and prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On these, the wajib upon every Muslim is to act upon. That is the meaning of antum tathal. These are required to be followed and abided by. Every Muslim should abide by what he has been commanded to, or to desist from committing anything he has been prohibited to do. That is why our actions and inactions are the points of blame, not the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The point I want to make from this is that Allah has created us with different qualities, has endowed us with different qualities, just like He has created us in different structures, different colors. These, we should use them in order to understand each other, rather than say that whoever comes from a particular area is worthy of blame or worthy of praise. We don't praise ourselves based on the places where we originate from, but we praise ourselves based on our actions or inactions in anything we do. So praise and condemnation is only attached to the latter, not the former. So no one should be blamed for being a black man, born by a black man, a black woman from Jigawa state, from the Fulani or Hausa, Kanuri, Yoruba, Igbo, Ijo, Jaba, Kajetiv, Nupe, etc. tribe. No one should be blamed for being from where he came from. If it happens to be a favorable area, he did not choose to be born there, so he carries no credit for that. If, on the other hand, it is not a favorable area, by virtue of its nature, he bears no responsibility for its unfavorable nature. So he does not need to be blamed. We now come to the issue of the creation of Jigawa state and the uniting factor in it. Many people tend to believe that the cause of the relative backwardness of our dear state is its composition of different emirates, the struggle to get to the center of the ruling by the different elements of the emirates, the surge by members of different cities and towns to have the most number of seats in the state civil service, the number of prominent persons, the number of schools, number of everything that counts in development. In my opinion, that is not the reason, and this should not be one thing that will prevent us from becoming one and developing as one single society. To me, it is not, and I do not even believe we are even backward. We should remember the time of the creation of the state and the situation of the state at the present time to admire how our predecessors were able to do something. At least they have done something, and they need to be commended on what they have done. And we who live in our time now, we should do our own part, on our own part, to do what we are able in order to promote the state to a far-reaching development level. And if anything is to be blamed, it is rightly our actions or inactions. We were never at war with each other before the creation of the state. Let us see the two Berlins, that is Western and Eastern Germany, were separated by a great wall, but in October the 3rd, 1990, they were united after being separated, and their land was the field of 45 years of Cold War. Now only in their books of history will their sons and daughters be able to come to know the division, that an animistic dichotomy that was there during the time of their parents. So let us come together and build a place we will be proud of, regardless of where somebody is, where somebody came from. Take, for example, now we come back to the religious factor in uniting the Ummah. Take the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He met the Arabs just like I mentioned.
Sorry,
a while ago.
you have only 1 minute.
Only 1 minute. Okay, I'm concluding now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought the Arabs together and they formed a formidable community that brought 1/3 of the world under its rule. And after the demise of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahaba were able to continue. Within only 25 years, 1/3 of the world was under Islam. What was the factor that brought all this development? It is the faith and the belief in unity, that every single person has something to contribute in the development of the society. And that is why they accepted each other regardless of this being an Arab, this being a non-Arab, as history came later on to register the performance, the contributions of many non-Arab Muslims who contributed to science, and this is what we find ourselves in. So thank you. I have to stop here. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us do what we can in developing Jigawa State and in seeing Jigawa State that we are proud of. Thank you all. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you so much, Akaramakallah. Allah ya kara hasken makaranta, Allah ya saka da alkhairi. We are very pleased to have you. We know your commitments and you dedicated this time for us. Thank you so much. May Allah bring us to the time where we will see the United Jigawa, one Jigawa, inshallah. Thank you. The third speaker or the third discussant is Dr. Muhammad, who is the former Minister of State Foreign Affairs and Minister of Information, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Dr. Nura Muhammad is one of the Nigeria's top exemplary youth with high-level leadership responsibilities. Native from Jigawa State, Northwest Nigeria, a medical doctor, health diplomat, our own Mahathir Muhammad. It's a combination of scholarly, cultural, global, and major ideologies of what could be a new. He was born in Hadeja local government area of Jigawa in 1970s. He had both his primary and secondary tertiary in all Kano State between 1982 to 2013, when he qualified a fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College in Psychiatry, having earlier in 2002 obtained his medical bachelor of surgery degree from College of Medicine, Bayero University. Dr. Nura is going to discuss on the topic proactive political orientation, unity and progress in Jigawa State. Doctor, you have 15 minutes to discuss on time and go through the topic. Thank you so much. Doctor, the stage is yours now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ana jina?
Alaikum assalam.
Okay.
Rahmatullah.
So, Murtala sai yanzu minti 15. Sai yanzu 15 ina ya fara.
Hello? Doctor, kamar muryarka ta yi ƙasa ko?
Okay, yanzu. Yanzu fa?
A yanzu muna
Ban
ji.
sani ba ko ni kaɗai ne nake jin.
Ni ma ina.
Muna
Ana jina
sauraron ka.
sosai.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can
you are
hear
audible,
you,
please.
Doctor.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
It gives me a great pleasure to be part of this
Assalamu alaikum.
very wonderful team of enlightened fellow Jigawa citizens. Gaskiya, to be honest, I was really proud and starstruck listening to the previous two speakers. Of course, they are very familiar names in the field of professionalism and academics, and of course, even our spirituality. I'm most humbled to be here. Quickly moving into the topic, proactive political orientation for unity and progress in Jigawa State. I was asking Mursala, and by extension the House, the other day about the mode of presentation, because we were told it's 15 minutes, and I have seen prudence in time from the previous two speakers, and I will quickly try to adopt their methods. First of all, some of us, the Jigawa identity was not imposed on some of us. We grew into the Jigawa identity. Jigawa was created when I was exactly in SS1 in 1991. So I would say I was still growing. I have not my full personality and emotions and sentiments and ideological orientation have not fully developed when Jigawa was created in 1991, and I was in SS1. And some of us had experiences we'll consider not very palatable at that particular point in time. I can remember we were SS1 students in Science College Dwakinkuru, and during one of the assembly talks, we were told that Jigawa was broke. And for boarding house students, to be broke is one of the most dreaded situations any boarding house student will find himself. And I would say for me, that was the first real patriotic drive. That's when my first real patriotic drive about Jigawa started. Jigawa was broke. How can a whole state be broke? And of course, you can trust students, fellow students who were young people like us. They were mocking us, oh, your state is broke and stuff like that. So I moved into medical training. And medical training by nature is so rational and scientific. In essence, you don't look at the person's color, you don't look at their religion, you don't look at their tribe, you don't look at how they look, you don't consider where they're coming from, you don't consider the language they speak. You are just after articulating, collecting the problems, making your own investigations, articulating solutions, and apply them to solve the problems. So that type of training has no much place for sentiments. To be a good doctor is to be on top of your sentiments. So immediately after we left medical school, and we went through the process of housemanship, internship, and NYSC, I decided to come back to Jigawa State as a medical officer. So I was in Burunikudu. Ringim General Hospital, and then later in Burnunkudu Federal Medical Center in Burnunkudu. So coming back home,
Dokta, maganar ka ta yi low sosai gaskiya. Na yi zaton daga nan ne kuma ba ta fitowa sosai.
Gaskiya muryarsa is okay. Muryarsa is okay from my own side.
Yes.
Okay, it's
Muryar
okay.
is normal. Gaskiya ni ma a guri na nan.
So Murtala, the problem is from your side, maybe.
Yes, it seems.
Yeah. So okay,
go ahead.
I came face to face with textbook definitions of human sufferings and misery. I've seen people, children under 5, suffering from malnutrition. I've seen women dying in labor. I've seen both the mother and the baby dying. I've seen people with high blood pressure. They don't even know what is the cause, and they don't even understand what I may be trying to explain as how their disease come about and how they can manage their disease. I've seen people who cannot afford 200 naira antimalarials. And this story is the same in Ringim, is the same in Burnukudu, is the same in Hadeja. So now, juxtaposing this into the political climate and the need for proactive unity, for proactive political orientation, rather, for unity and progress in Jigawa State. I was thinking that not even Jigawa, that is a homogeneous state as far as I'm concerned. We all speak the same language, we dress the same, we answer similar names, we have similar social activities. In fact, most people will even look alike, especially those from outside, we even look alike. So when we're talking about Bamuda unity as Jigawa, it really surprises me because in practical terms, we are more homogeneous than even Kano. The percentage of Christians in Kano State are far more than the percentage of Christians in Jigawa State. And of course, Kano is more cosmopolitan, people from other parts of the country are there and so on. So thinking that Jigawa is a model of lack of unity because of differences baffles me, actually. It baffles me. And I'm glad, I was very happy listening to Baba Megeri with what he called this collective stupidity. I think really nothing answered my concerns. Nothing addresses my concerns more than this term of collective stupidity, doing the same thing over and over again, and then expecting somehow miraculously something different coming up as a result. Our problems are as classical as any society's problem: poverty, ignorance, and disease. And there is the need to build the collective intelligence, as again I would refer to Baba Megeri, to tackle proactively, systematically, and rationally tackle these problems. Dr. Brunonkudu was saying, no man is an island, and no one is going to develop individually. So that is true for villages, that is true for towns, that is true for local governments, that is true for zones, that is true for states, that is true for nations. In fact, the whole world now is coming together through various multilateral organizations, just to reaffirm what he said. No man is an island. So no country is an island, not even a state, not even a zone, not even a town, not even a village. So when the time came for some of us to start expressing our political consciousness, some of us were a bit, we find it very difficult when we're listing things that we thought we will not be able to confront in politics beyond the general lack of ideology in the political space, beyond the monetization and godfatherism. To some of us in Jigawa, you have to explain yourself that I'm not from so-so place or I'm from so-so place. For me, that was a law I had told myself I may never be comfortable diving into. First of all, I trained as a doctor. By providence, I found myself in foreign ministry. You know, I spoke for the whole country. I was carrying this flag at my young age. I was sitting for Nigeria in West Africa. I was sitting for Nigeria. I would sit in African Union and speak for the whole of West Africa. I would sit in the United Nations and speak for the whole of Africa. Then I would sit in the, for example, I would chair the Human Rights Council of the United Nations and speak for the whole humanity. So now how do I come back home and start talking of the village I come from? For me, that is rather complicating the problem we have as a people. Rather than building the collective intelligence, I would keep quoting Baba Megari here, you know, to fight this collective stupidity. Some point it looks like we're further entrenching the collective stupidity, because people will always find something to divide them in life. That is natural. If they don't say you are black or white, they will say you're either a Muslim or Christian, or they will say you're either an African or an Asian. They will say you're either a West African or Central African. They will say you're either a Southern Nigerian or a Northern Nigerian. They will either say you are from Northwest or from Northeast. They will either say you're from Kano in Northwest or Jigawa. They will follow you to Jigawa and say you're from Hadeja or from Brununkudu. They will follow you to Hadeja and say you are not from the main town. You know, they will follow you to your small side of the town. And then they will say, you do not come from the rich families. They will follow you into your family, and one of your brothers will say you just don't like it. So human beings have traditionally found ways to divide themselves. It is a few people, a few good men, a few thinkers, like some of the faces I've seen here, some of the voices I have heard here, who will challenge these stereotypes, who will sit up and be counted and set the narrative for a proper collective intelligence to save their societies. No one should be praised or condemned except by their actions or inactions. This is a prophetic saying, as Dr. Bruno Kudu eloquently presented. It is wrong to condemn a whole group of people, and it is wrong to praise a whole group of people. In each group of people, there are bad people and there are good people. All of us here have children, and I'm sure people like Baba Megari have grandchildren. And it amazes me when my children were growing up, and I realized that all the 5 of them have distinct personalities. These are children from the same parents, You know, we try to give them everything the same, but to my amazement, no matter how much you try, there are just distinct personalities. There are 5 distinct personalities that I have to contend with among children I individually gave birth to, and I try to give them the same upbringing. So now you can imagine my children and my brother's children. Then you can imagine my father's grandchildren. Now you can imagine his extended family. Now you can imagine their whole village, their whole district, their whole ward, their whole local government, their whole zone, their whole state. So I really find something very, very intellectually unappealing in the very notion that people could be classified as patriotic or not, good or bad, patient or bad, based on primarily from where they're coming from. I believe it is true that individuals can have group characteristics. But within such groups, there are exceptions within such groups. And that's the fallacy of generalization. And I think what groups like this should help Jigawa with is this effort, as Baba Megari stated, to create a narrative of collective intelligence that speaks to the problems. Problems of underdevelopment, problems of poverty, problems of disease, problems of unemployment, and problems of security. We should thank our God that Jigawa is still one of the most peaceful states in the country. But we shouldn't take that for granted. That may not last forever. In our own very eyes, Zamfara too was like Jigawa, a very peaceful state, and Katsina as well. In fact, even Borno State and Yobe State, in our own very eyes, within 10 years, within 3-5 years, Katsina is now in the news for all the bad reasons. So we should not take even the peace we enjoy. That's the last thing we have now, and we should not take it for granted. If, God forbid, the variables, the downward spiral continues unabated as it is now, we may not even guarantee the peace for our children. We may not even guarantee that peace for our children. Dr. Bruno Kudu and Baba Megari, somehow, I think you are the oldest people here. And I think to an extent, you people will feel fulfilled that we are somehow your children and younger ones. You have seen your children growing up, you have seen the children of your friends growing up. But I think myself, Murtala and Chamo, and of course Najib, we cannot beat our chests and say so. Our children are still in primary school. Some even yet to enter primary school. We have every reason to feel worried that if things continue this way, in 20 years' time, or when our children are our age now, what will Jigawa be like? What will Northern Nigeria be like? What will Nigeria be like? In reality, some of us have thought of running away, to leave the country, because of this problem. But then at a point, you ask yourself, why are you running to? Wherever you go to in this world, you will face divisions. You're going to face more divisions. If you go to Europe, you will be referred at that Black African Muslim. And the next thing is, you may be able to survive until the end of your life, which is going to be miserable, of course. Then your children will try to run away from that identity. Your children will try to integrate. So they will try to run away from their African, Black, and Islamic Hausa heritage. So you'll be lost in one generation. That's why some of us decided to step back and face the divisions at home, the artificial divisions at home. Face it, fight it, subdue it, and if anything, leave something for our children. Mutanenmu Hausawa suna cewa jikinka ba zai rube ba ka yanke ka jefar. I have never really understood that until it came to my political journey. I have never really understood that until it came to when I started thinking of running away because of the content of the problems. So I realized that that's like cutting part of my body and throw it away. And then realizing that as big as this world may look like, as big as it may look like, the only place Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us and where you can move freely without anybody calling you any name is Jigawa State. And with the way things are going, nobody is sure the future of Nigeria. The future of Nigeria may be in the regions and in the states. Jigawa has everything to be a country. I have seen a country of 125,000 people. I've seen a country of 2 million people. I've seen a country of 3 million people. Jigawa is about 6 million. We have international boundary, we have international airport, we have very good networks, we have rail lines, we have fertile land. all we don't have is that collective intelligence. In fact, all we have for now is collective stupidity. And if there's anything forum like this should do, is to set the stage. Is to set the stage for a discussion to create sound collective intelligence. Then Allah to help us fix some of our problems. When you move around the state, from Busirka to Sulatan Karkar to Digensa to Aslafia, all you see is misery. All you see, are schools that you can not actually say that children are learning there. I was amazed listening to Baba Megari, and Dr. Bruno Kudu. These are scholars by all standards in this world. And I can bet my life they attended public schools. I can bet my life. I will say if Dr. Bruno Kudu and Baba Megari did not go to public school, let me die. I'm sure they went public primary school and public secondary school. And even the few younger ones among us here blowing grammar. Shima did public school. Can we actually say the Jigawa children attending today's public schools in the United States can be as sophisticated as Baba Megari and Dr. Bruno Kudu? Or even as average as myself, Murtala, Najib, and Cham. Hello, Murtala, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. I think you have only 1 minute.
Yeah, as I told you before that I was not going to write because I was able to understand the pressure of the time. And I know writing may be getting very liberal with my thoughts, but I think I've passed the message. In fact, I'll keep quoting Baba Yusuf Megari for the rest of my life. We need to fight our collective stupidity and entrench clear collective, sustainable collective intelligence. So that my children and Chamo's children and Murtala's children can one day speak like Baba Megari and Dr. Bruno. Thank you very much.
We can't hear you, please. We can't hear you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nuruddin Muhammad. I'm very sure we are all witness that he has done justice to this topic. And inshallah, as he urged us to see the possibility of coming up with a platform that will try to fight our collective intelligence, we will try to fight our collective stupidity and come up with collective intelligence. I want to assure you all that inshallah this Reconnect Jigawa platform will do that. And in the coming time, inshallah, we will try to come up with so many lecture series, presentations to invite the people from academia, intellectuals, have you to come up with this movement that will look at Jigawa as a one single state and to fight our collective collective ignorance, and what have you. So
I think our chief host is having a technical issue.
Yes, sir. The volume is low.
No, he's no longer in the studio.
It's off.
I think we need to do something about it. Bala, can you just take over your presentation, please?
Is
We
that
can
like
ask
protocol,
Abane
please?
to introduce Bala so that you can start your presentation.
Do you think the right? Okay, it's coming off now.
Okay, he's coming back.
Yes.
sorry, I'm very sorry for the network trouble. I don't know. I switched from MTN to Glow back to MTN again, but still it is hitchy. I'm very sorry. I apologize for this. Please, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can all hear you, I believe.
Yes. Yes, we can all hear you. Okay, okay. Let me add our next topic is roadmap for dealing with unemployment and resource redundancy in primary produce economy, to be discussed by our two gentle colleagues, Mr. Honorable Bala Usman Chamu and Dr. Najib A.A. Gambo. Please excuse me, let me add Sadiq to the studio so that my connection went down. Okay, he went out. Sorry, please. I will first invite Dr. Bala Usman Chamu, who is uh, presently the state focal person and coordinator for the social investment program in Jigawa State, who was from Chamo town in Dusa local government, Jigawa State. He attended Chamo Opariyamma Primary School from 1983 to 1989, GSS Kiao from 1990 to 1992, and Science Secondary School Kapung Hausa from 1992 to 1995. He proceeded to College of Art and Remedial Studies, CAS, in Kano for a brief period, and he later got admission into newly established School of Nursing Brunun Kudu from 1996 to 1999. He has advanced diploma certificate in applied psychology and the BSc second class upper division in general and applied psychology from University of Jos. Dr. Honorable Bala Usman Chamo obtained his Master of Science in Forensic Psychology from University of Bedford, United Kingdom, and this singular achievement made him become the first registered forensic and investigative psychologist in both regional and national levels. Dr. Bala Usman Chamo, together with Dr. Najib A.A. Gambo, will deliberate or will discuss on the roadmap for dealing with unemployment and resource redundancy in primary produce economy of Jigawa State. Dr. Bala Chamo, the stage is yours now. Sorry, Honorable Bala Chamo.
Okay. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم والصلاة والسلام على نبي الكريم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Gentlemen, and of course other viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It really gives me pleasure and a sense of belonging to be part of this particular discussions on how we can navigate our energy for the development of our dear state, Jigawa State. It is indeed a rare privilege for me to interact or maybe be in the midst of these exalted scholars and of course technocrats to discuss issues that ought to have been discussed probably at a higher stage. Looking at our context, it is relevant to understand what the concepts are and what the position of Jigawa State is at present, and what efforts are being put in place to see those issues as part of the topic being addressed. So in general, we must to appreciate, as the other scholars have mentioned, our collective existence. And of course, if I can say, we should exploit that so-called collective stupidity as amplified by the previous scholars, to improve our collective intelligence for the development of our state. You can't have a society that is below its contemporaries in terms of poverty ranking, in terms of educational background, and in terms of generally maybe a social coexistence. Jigawa, as we've seen, or maybe we all know, is one of the few states that is blessed with the homogeneous futures, as said by Dr. Nura. And you know, sometimes it gives one a sense of a kind of surprise, or maybe it pushes one to even ask questions as to what really is going on. How different are we? Because we are more similar than different. And of course, we are all from the same orientation, even if I can say even economic background. Most of our people revolve around the same status of even economic and of course educational stages. But we still have some few among us who believe that there are issues that are non-surmountable because of our probably local orientations and of course our local or limited exposures to the reality on ground. If you look at going by what we are asked to, I hope I will get the 15 minutes, but our topic will be discussed by two individuals, myself, Dr. Najib and myself. So probably our time might have been slightly reduced to the less than amount of money, our time. If you look at the issue at stage now, youth unemployment is one
you
of
will
the
be
major
given
issues.
10 minutes, each of you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will rush just to say. Okay, youth unemployment is one of the major socio-economic problems confronting many developing countries, especially in Africa. And if you look at the population or maybe the poverty ranking, as released by the World Bank previously, places the northern part of Nigeria as the most vulnerable, or maybe the poor entity in terms of their own assessment. Among or within that explanation, or maybe provision, Jigawa also was placed as one of the most vulnerable and the poor states, and Zamfara. So actually, we took that when I saw something like that, and looking at the work we are doing, I look at it as a challenge. We said, yes, we can't doubt whatever the World Bank maybe submit, but we still have some issues or maybe some concerns to go and look at what are those indices used and what are those parameters that were used to get to that level. And also for us to deal with that unemployment, it is also important to have a committed and determined effort by various stakeholders to help the youth achieve their potentials and, of course, develop their individual communities. So it is on that note that we must understand the basic concept, because we are not saying the level is not right or we are not accepting the level. So we must to, of course, look at what can we do in our capacity as some I mean, in the social investment drive, what can we do to, of course, exploit the opportunities that we have so that we can improve on the trend? So it is important to understand some of the basic concepts that were actually for this purpose, that are, of course, essential for our discussions of today before we get even the solutions or the roadmap that were put in place to ensure the Jigawa state improved on the social ranking level. Employment, from my own understanding and from the generality of the perspectives, it is an opportunity or maybe by somebody who gets job and who is being paid. So generally speaking, it's an earning a living through one's production ability. This means that you have to have some productivity. You have to have some competence actually for you to earn a living in as much as you want to claim to be employed, because there are issues to do with legal application of what might actually, the scholars will explain to what extent can we determine one's job as an employment, because it has to be legalized and it has to have met some criteria as set by the standards of the meaning. And also the unemployment here, it is a proportion of those in labor force who were actively looking for job but could not find it, or at least who cannot work for 20 hours in a week. So if somebody wants to work, he finds the work, but he could not work up to 20 hours, we consider him as unemployed. And again, there are people who want to work, but actually do not have the matching competence even to claim for that job. I could remember in our program, like the Just Empower program, which was they were exiting now, they said they should be hired by the federal government. Everybody must be employed. But actually we said, no, not all of you are really employable, because the selection criteria did not determine the competence as a major yardstick of being selected. So if, for instance, somebody who has a first-class degree is paid 30,000 on Empower program, and somebody who has a past degree, if there is any, now also is paid 30,000 naira. So by the time you say you want to employ them, I must believe that every national man will go for somebody who has a higher competence. So I think for once to even claim to be unemployed, he must have the matching requirement to the task he is willing to engage in before he claims to be unemployed. Let's look at the rate now. For you to determine the rate, you look at unemployed population in the region and divide it by the labor force of that particular and multiply by percentage. So this will give us the entire rate we have. Jigawa State at present, under the NBS report 2019, the unemployment rate in the country was, the average was 29.7. But in Jigawa State, we have 26.5. We are ranked the 15th in the country, ahead of even Kano, which has 31.3%, and Kaduna, which has 26.8%. So this means that, yes, we are unemployed to some extent, but our unemployment is not as actually amplified. It's been amplified by, of course, people who may not actually know the report, or maybe who might not have engaged in the study that might inform their decision to that level. One of the factors that was actually considered, or maybe you should look into, the ILO, for instance, says in the same report, they said one of the criteria is the nature of the work of the inhabitant of that locality, or maybe the sedentary nature of the activities that is going in that particular locality. Take, for instance, a married woman who are, of course, very many, or maybe housewives. They are the majority in our case in Jigawa State. May not be unemployed, though they don't have a job to do, because they are not willing to even go to work as an entity. They prefer to remain as, so in as much as they don't have that intention or willingness to pursue a job to earn a living, you can't quantify their number to be part of unemployed. Though in the actual sense of it, probably in the open, you say, yes, they are not doing anything. But because of that lack of willingness to participate, that excludes them to become part of the populations that are used to determine the rate at which we do. And of course, our understanding to the job. In a pilot study we've just concluded, not actually many people understand the meaning of even employment, because people think that it's only when you get a government job that you are employed. This is very common among our young individuals. I've seen a person who earns more than 100,000 naira a month, but I asked him, are you employed? He said, no, I'm not employed. I said, what are you? What is the definition of employment to you? He said, I'm not on the government payroll. So from the perspective, that is the majority of the understanding of our people. So unless we navigate our energy to a better platform that will expose our common sense and understanding to the knowledge that when you earn a living through your production ability, it means you are employed, a lot of our level will continue, and a lot of our individual will miss the cardinal understanding of what life is all about. So I think it is very important in a meeting like this and in among these scholars to always help ourselves to create an opportunity, because we've seen a lot of interventions, a lot of opportunities. I have known an individual who was connected through my office to a particular job, but because the job was not directly a government job, and that guy, within a year, he made more than 1 million naira savings, apart from the monthly amount he's enjoying. But when we came to Empower, we said, please, whosoever works should not apply for Empower. Should allow somebody who is not working, who is not employed. He said, no, I'm not working. I'm not employed. So the criteria used and the understanding affected actually the issue. So I think it is important to go back to the drawing board, expose maybe interact with our collective individual platforms to understand, to improve the knowledge of what actually life or maybe earning a living is all about. That will really help our people to understand. If we look at the China, if we look at all the developed economies, I wonder when we were, maybe I have to give some little experience here. When we are studying in the UK, I actually couldn't find, or maybe not easy for me to even see a local installations, or maybe local, state or government establishment. Apart from the city council, hardly will see any organization, hardly will see a government worker. Because I could remember once there was a debate in the parliament of the UK, the prime minister then wanted to support the justice sector. One of the parliamentarians says, no, why are we spending more to the non-productive sector of the economy? So as far as they are concerned, government is not as productive as the private sector. So they consider whatever they do is more to the private sector, thereby developing entrepreneurship, thereby creating opportunities for their younger ones to go and earn living through their independent practices. So I think this is very key to our discussions, and this is very important if all of us will help that. We look at in our context the factors that really led to unemployment because of the time factor. One of it in Nigeria, or maybe in Jigawa, of course, inclusive, the structure, the structural factors.
Very sorry,
Our structures are not
Honorable
designed.
Balatamu. Your time must
Hello?
up.
Up?
Very sorry, please. Your time is up.
But
Maybe you
can
can
you
conclude.
allow
Please.
to conclude, please?
Can you give me 5 minutes more, please? Let me just
Yes,
go to the
yes,
roadmap
conclude.
and conclude. Okay, I think one of the reasons,
go
one of the
ahead.
factors we must consider the structural factors, we need to consider the cultural factors, we also need to consider the political will, and of course the budgetary allocation, and of course our uncoordinated programs in the country. Unemployment is something that is chronic in nature, meaning it is not something that is abrupt, it's something that runs over a period of time. And the effort of the Nigerian government, there were a series of effort and intervention designed to remedy the problem. But unfortunately, most of the programs are not as coordinated as they desired, because even the current social investment program, initially we had a lot of issues in the coordination of the various components of the program, because for it to be successful, there must be a linkage or maybe a connection between the dots that separate the program, so that individual will move from one program to the other for more sustainable development. So as a roadmap, I think one of the issues that we must consider is our value orientations. We need to understand what unemployment is and what employment is and what attitudes do we have towards those understanding of those installations. And of course, we need to understand the importance of establishment of conducive environment. Government policies and programs are designed in such a way that the citizens should exploit the opportunities created by the policies design to make sure their ideas, to make sure their potentials is maximized, and of course the ideas and the goals they design for themselves are achieved without much issues. And we must also consider the use targeted programs, like the social investment program. The Empower is specifically on. Hello? Hello? The Empower program, 500,000 Nigerians. Jigawa, we have 11,600 Empower graduates. So every month they are given about 360 million naira, apart from the federation and the park allocation to the state on the Empower program. And of course, if the youth are empowered, it is assumed that because they control the most productive segment of the workforce, and thereby creating a more sustainable economic development platforms for them to continue. And of course, employability. As I have explained earlier, you can only employ somebody who has some certain skills and educational status. If our educational status is not as strong as expected, it cannot match that of other places where the competence is more pronounced. And also the skills training being put in place. Look at the agriculture, look at the empowerment programs look at the amount of money injected in various empowerment programs in the state. But you realize if those programs are not skills oriented, or maybe those beneficiaries are not linked to the desired skills, or experts are not brought on board to make sure the skills are translated to the right individuals and for the achievement of a right goal, then certainly we continue to have a lot of issues that will continue to affect ourselves. And of course, opportunities should be impartial. Remove all demographic barriers that may hinder someone from enjoying the collective resources of the nation. Because like issues of sectionalism, Jigawa is very key. We can't do away, even though Dr. Nura said we are not actually, any one of us here should not subscribe to any local mentality to support a local context or local idea, because probably our level of exposure and what have you. But we can't deal away with it entirely unless we go back and talk to those people who listen to our ears, whose ears we have, and who listen to us. And even some people, those people who are a bit superior, there are people that we cannot talk to. But the reality of it, anybody that support any sectarian or emirates or maybe even local government segregation, that person should be castigated by all. And if there is any opportunity that should be enjoyed, the state government or even people of us, some people like us here, should make sure that person is made to understand what he is amplifying is not helping the matter and will never augur well for the state. And of course, we have to increase our agricultural production. Look at the wetlands we have from Ringim down to Guri. Whenever I passed that route, I really could not comprehend myself, because I know every year in, year out, we have plots. And this is because of the untapped resources of the plot of water that we, and this water supply can be linked, can connect even to Megateri, and some part of that can even connect down to Duse and Jahun, the hilly part of Jahun. So if those things can be utilized, if our young individuals can navigate their energy through our little push, certainly we can get somewhere. Go to Kura now, go to the Kadawa now. None of their young persons go to Lagos or Onisha for any petty traders, because they have agri activity there, and the only resources used to build that establishment is probably state government's resources. So I think it is everyone's responsibility here to amplify what should be done to make sure our young people are engaged. But of course, we have to go back to the value orientation so that everyone will understand what really employment means and how can we put our resources and energy to navigate to the employment creation and the development of the state. I hope I did not maybe exhaust someone's time, and I hope the little contributions here will add value to what we are discussing and will create more opportunities for all of us to maybe discuss further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. And inshallah, we will look at the roadmap on this platform and come up with what is doable. Our next discussion is Dr. Najib Gambo Abdulhamid, who is a principal lecturer with Computer Science Department, Jigawa State Polytechnic, Duse. He's an SAS certified based programmer for SAS 9, Google certified trainer, and Hotsuite certified professional. Dr. Najib Gambo got his BTech in mathematics education from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, MSc in information systems from University of Aberdeen, Scotland, UK, and the PhD in computer science from Brunel University, London. His academic employment covers both national and international. He was a graduate assistant with Computer Science Department, Brunel University, London, UK from 2015 to 2019, and works with Computer Science Department of Jigawa State Polytechnic from 2006 to date. He published numerous peer-reviewed national and international journal articles and conference papers. Dr. Gambo participated in a number of voluntary and community service ranging from doctoral consortium and conference volunteer in 2016 and 2019, and so many voluntary and community services. The recent to note is he is founder of Open School Nigeria project to help educators, parents, and students during the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Najib is passionate about personal development, time management, and blogging. You have 15 minutes to look at the IT perspective of unemployment and opportunities for Jigawa State youths. Dr. Najib, you are welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Can you please add my screen, the other screen? Murtala.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, please.
Yes. The screen, okay. So
yes, we can see it all.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعد أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So my topic is to take the ICT component of what Honorable Bala has delivered. So the topic here is a roadmap for dealing with resource redundancy in Jigawa State. Mine is just to take the ICT action. So briefly, this is the outline of my presentation. I will start with reflecting, then to discuss some few internet gold mine, then to discuss on how to go about it, then question and answer if the time permits. So now the story. I will start with this YouTube video. If you Google how to tie a tie on YouTube, you'll find out different type of video, but this one specifically, it has like 5 minutes, 40 seconds, and it has like over 72 million views. Not only that, like 300,000 people like the video. So this is the first story I am interested in bringing into your attention, how to tie a tie. Then I move to the second one, then I will come back. Here is another story I shared on my Facebook page that I stumbled on Reddit, and this is the story about these people. They said, one of these guys wrote, I noticed a guy on Facebook that was better than me at mounting PDs. So instead of hating on him, I reached out and offered to pay him to teach me how to perfect the craft. He didn't accept the money. Instead, we formed a partnership, and the rest is history. So now, why am I telling you this story? The answer is, if you look at the first one, it is just a YouTube video of 5 minutes, 40 seconds, in which you can realize that it is only 5 minutes, 40 seconds, and it doesn't require any sophisticated amount of work. And this video has been watched by people like 72 million times. So one of the advantage of ICT is, look at it, if this guy monetized this video, so that Google will put adverts at the start of this video. And it has been watched 42 million times. And let's say like 60 million people were able to watch this video from the beginning to end. Suppose that guy his account is credited by Google just for ₦1. At least in this 5 minute video, you can realize that this guy could get up to like 62 million naira. That is something we can think about. Secondly, if you look at the second one, the second picture I shared about the guy whom he discovered that there was a guy who has a talent in how to mount a television on the wall. What he did was, it was through social media he was able to discover the talent of this guy. And the rationale or the moral of the story is, the power of social media has given him the potentials to reach out to somebody who can network and teach him something. So there is a power of networking there is power of mentoring, there is power of partnership. In context with what we are discussing here in Jigawa, so it means like we have an abundance gold mine on internet that we can leverage to turn our potentials. So in the light of this, I'm going to give you like 3 to 4 important gold mines that when we are talking about resource redundancy, like what Honorable Balachama was saying, we do not necessarily need to work with government or for government for us to be fully employed. So now what is going on here with the development of this Web 2.0, the internet, now we have different entrepreneurs, we call them infopreneurs, where they create a lot of content so that they monetize this content to get money every now and then. For example, now, if you look at this guy, he is called Nas Daily. At least on Facebook, he has 61 million followers. And there was a day Nas used to have 1 minute video for 365 days. And in each video, this guy shared at least, you can find at least 250,000, minimum of 250,000 people watching this video. And there is a little kind of advert there, and that is how he is making his money. Not only that, there is this YouTube, there is Instagram, that our people that are interested in becoming an entrepreneurs, there is a ton of ways that you could be able to use videos, create content using videos so that you can monetize. And this thing does not require to have a heavy investment. All you require is very good camera. All you require is your talent. Look at the way, or think of so many ways that you can be able to share videos, create videos that can always make people to at least watch your video. So through that, you can monetize your video either through YouTube, through Facebook, or through Instagram. And we have a lot of people that are getting money using that. And recently, here is a simple example. You know, there's this guy in Kano called Shagirigiribo. You know, like when he was sharing videos, some people were sharing his videos and people were laughing. And one guy, I think is Ali at work, decided that let us take this guy, let us brand him, and let us create a YouTube channel for him. Now this guy is now pitching money. So there is abundance of potentials on the internet. Probably you can use Facebook, you can do YouTube, you can use videos so that you can get money in it. Not only that, there is also this kind of book publishing. People can write book, and they can use Kindle Direct Publishing, or they can use Create Space so that they can get a lot of money. And you know that writing this book does not require like difficult effort. It all boils down to your discipline and what you are interested in selling to people, and something that must be interesting. You can use Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing or Create Space so that you can print a book on demand and you can sell this book, and every now and then you can be able to get money. Not only that, you can also create courses. If you have a specific talent, or you realize that there is information dearth on particular topic, you can create a course on that particular topic. Go to this website called Udemy, then discuss with the founders as well as discuss with the founders of these courses. Then they can upload these courses to you. Once people find it interesting, anybody who subscribes to the courses will certainly give you money, and this will create a lot of money. Yesterday we were discussing with Abdul Hayat. He said he has a friend from Pakistan. He created videos on using Google G Suite for education tools. He said 1 week after uploading the video on Udemy, he was able to get $500 in a month. So what do you think? The more people find value in this video and they keep subscribing to learn a lot of new things, $500 is something huge that once it comes into your pocket, it is something that I believe will help you. Not only that, there is this kind of freelancing all over the internet. You can see that there is this voiceover, there is logo design, there is, if you are good at designing websites, if you are good at coding, or you can work as a virtual assistant online, or you can be a transcriber, or you can translate a lot of stuff. There are a lot of places online. For example, you can have, you can go to this website, they call it Upwork, or you can go to Transcribe Me, where you can transcribe, or you can translate, or you can go to Fiverr, where there are a lot of people looking for those who will design website for them, or those who will design logo for them, or those who can do this voiceover. Let's take a voiceover as an example. What does it take to learn this art of voiceover. And you can even be unique with an African or with a northern voice. People will really be interested in paying money to transcribe or to do a voiceover on a lot of things. So these are all opportunities that are there online that we can all explore and get money. Not only that, you can see every now and then on Facebook, on Instagram, on different social media platforms, people are taking pictures and they all have the proficiency to do a lot of things. But unfortunately, we don't normally monetize our pictures. You can decide to be a photographer, taking pictures of everything that deals with nature, or a wedding photographer, or a culture and tradition, or a sport, or you can be taking landscape and everything. There are a lot of websites that will be able to pay you money when you share your photograph with them, like Adobe Stock, like Portfolio. There are about 18 different websites that you can decide to do that. I think I put a link where people that are interested in this presentation could be able to follow and try and see how they can make money through it. Not only that, because of the time factor, I only restrict myself to content creation, photography, and freelancing. Only there are ways like you can become a consultant, social media consultant, and a lot of stuff there. However, because of like time factor, I decided to restrict myself on these three. But it is not like that simple, that you have to prepare yourself. Not only preparation, your preparation need to know, you need to have a mentor. Who is going to be my mentor that will help me to navigate if I'm interested in photography, if I'm interested to be a freelancer, or I'm interested in becoming a content creator. I need to have somebody who is good at that and can help to teach me on how to go about that. Not only that, you need to practice. You can't do this thing just because you need to have money. So for 1 day or for 2 days, you see that the moment you started this thing, you can get money. There was a guy I advised him that you can go for transcription or you can go for virtual assistant. Then he applied like 3 times and nobody ever applied to him. I said, you need to look at your CBA, you need to look at how you brand this thing. But because like he tried 2 times, he couldn't be able to get in. That was how he gave up. So you can't do this thing if you are not very, very good at it. That is why they said what is worth doing at all is worth doing thoroughly. So somebody has to practice, And remember, Malcolm Gladwell has this idea of that for you to be good at what you are doing, you need to have at least 10,000 hours practicing this thing. So it is just not like going to internet, start doing this thing, and one day you will do that. So you have to practice. Not only that, you need to read books, you need to have a lot of networks. Remember, one of the quotation, my favorite quotation is, they said, the person you will be in 5 years is based on the books you read and the people you surround yourself with today. So you can only succeed when you practice, when you read, when you learn, and identify your passion. Not only that, you have to be very resilient. You have to accept that you have to knock on different doors before the doors start to open. So you have to be very resilient. You have to accept disappointment. But once you keep going, inshallah, your door will open. Not only that, if you want to succeed in life, one of the main things that will help you is just you try your best, you practice, you learn from the mentors. You also need to pray hard so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open your ways for you. Thank you so much. I think I have spent 14 minutes. If there is any question, when it comes to question and answer, we can go through that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Najib A. Gambo. I'm sure our viewers also enjoyed this, and I hope you will be my mentor. Thank you very much. And this brings us to the end of this very important discussion on Reconnect Jigawa Facebook page. And inshallah, now we will go through the question and answers for our viewers that send their questions. Particularly, first one is directly to Dr. Abubakar Sani, Brunun Kudu, which Sultan Abubakar Sadiq asks. He said, with all to the complexity of the Zen society during the Prophet days, yet the harmony and tolerance is commendable, particularly from the Muslim Ummah. To be specific, sir, what ignited the disharmony that threatens the unity and stability of our today's society? Maybe he's talking about how they achieve it during the time of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and what is igniting the disharmony that is threatening the unity and stability of our today's society, particularly in Jigawa State. Dr. Abubakar Sani Borno Kudu, this question goes to you. Let me unmute you.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Generally, when you look at the time of the Sahaba, as I have highlighted, the main factor of their success is that they have tied themselves to the teachings of the religion. When you come to our time now, what ignited the problems we are in is mostly what? Our ignorance. When we are ignorant of the religion itself, we are ignorant of the fact that we have to accept each other in order to develop. When we are tied to other taboos that bring the problems we encounter, and we cannot do away with them, then surely this is what will ignite the problems we are in now. So we need to learn a lot, learn to accept from each other, learn to compromise, learn to feel the diverse bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, and to learn from that and accept each other and feel that we are not better than all. Yes, we can do what we can, but we should try and be accommodating in what we do. Inshallah ta'ala, we hope we will achieve and go to the same place the Sahaba were able to go. This is our hope, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abubakar Sadiq. I hope this question, the second question is, the second question is to Dr. Nuruddin Muhammad. He said, I'm interested to comment particularly on the lack of political philosophy and focus among a number of actors and players of democracy in the state. He said, with your wealth of experience coupled with your ability to interact within the stream of politics, how can this agony be revived? Dr. Nura Muhammad, he is asking on how can the lack of political philosophy, political ideology of the actors in politics in Jigawa State, he said, how can this agony be revived? Dr. Nura Muhammad.
So I'm unmuted now, right?
I'm unmuted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Even though you didn't tell me the person who asked the question.
It's Sultan Abubakar Sadiq.
But the same Sadiq, all right. So he was asking about the lack of political philosophy and ideology among the actors and how that affects development in Jigawa, I think.
And how that affects
well, I think it's not that the cultural actors don't have philosophies or ideologies.
It's not that,
but rather it is the philosophy and the ideologies they have may not be development compliant. And in a way, it keeps reinforcing all the things that are wrong with the status quo.
All the things that are
I have some form of obsessions actually when I get the right words, and
I have some form of obsessions actually.
I will still make reference to Honorable Yusuf Megari's presentation.
I will still make reference to Honorable Yusuf Megari's presentation.
We have philosophies and ideologies in our own stupidity.
And ideologies in our own stupidity.
So what the society needs to do is to present alternative philosophies and ideologies that are development compliant, that are rational, and that can only be achieved, again, quoting him, through building that collective intelligence.
Again, quoting him.
And collective intelligence is about rational inquiry of the status quo problems, and selflessly aligning ourselves with the results of our rational inquiry, and then tirelessly applying the solutions. I think that's just it.
I think that's just it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, this one is a contribution from Nura Gwaram. He said, one critical issue that we keep openly denying but internally cancerous in us at present Jigawa State is this issue of emirates of origin. The same issue we shall fight head to toe if we need to see the unity we crave. I hold the opinion that Dr. Sani barely touched the issue while it needs to be shaken vigorously, please. So he needs us to take the issue, to talk on the issue vigorously. There is another question, I think, going directly to Dr. Nura again. He said, my question to you, Dr. Nura, is what are the strategies to mitigate these issues happening in Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, etc., so that we can have a peaceful north?
Well, Murtala, I think it's very clear,
I think it's very clear.
Most of these bandits,
the question by Yahya,
I know they're terrorists.
Most of these bandits are the problem. I know they're terrorists.
Most of them that are apprehended, you see them being interviewed, and you can see they barely know the religion, even though they nominally identify as Muslims.
Even though
they are barely literate in the Western ways either. Hardly skilled in anything, if not how to operate weapons. So we have allowed, this society has allowed human beings to grow into adulthood without any form of social programming. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not created humans to live their lives without education. Human beings are to be programmed. Each society should program its children into what it wants its adults to be. We have clearly learned that. And that's why I was saying that we should not take the peace we have in Jigawa for granted. If the trend continues in a way that our children grow into adulthood without any systemic programming, to make them into responsible and responsive adults. That's how we have idiots carrying AK-47 and opening fire at random, killing tens of people without without having any human feeling about it. So I think the issues are generally around development, and Malam Yusuf Megari has raised a lot in that direction, about how societies have emerged from the rubble, and assemble thinkers, to bring out viable political ideologies, philosophies, and movements, that frontally challenge the existing dysfunctional values, and put society to the way of progress. We have China, we have Malaysia as examples. So I think the good is clear, as the Quran would say, and the bad is clear. We have a choice as a people to make whether we are for the good or for the bad. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next question goes to Dr. Najib Gambo from Muhammad Musbahu Basirka. He said, can you come up with on how to connect, can collaborate with stakeholders in utilizing these opportunities you have highlighted, please? He's asking Gambo, can you come up with maybe a way how can this platform Reconnect Jigawa can collaborate with stakeholders in utilizing the opportunities you have highlighted? Dr. Najib Gambo.
So, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I am ready to do that. I have been doing that, and I'm ready to do that. Collaborate.
Thank you so much. The next question. Sorry, I'm trying to bring Sadiq Ali Ahmad so that he can give a vote of thanks. When we finish, okay. The next question is from Muhammad Garba Aisara Gamsarka. He said his question goes to Bala Usman Chamo as the coordinator of NSIP in Jigawa State. Based on your findings, how can you rate the efficiency of NSIP program in dealing with the fundamental causes of underdevelopment in Jigawa State, which include ignorance, poverty, and disease? If you have left that office today, what are your perceptions regarding the impacts you made in developing the social standard of the state populace, which include uniting and prospering the lives of the youth of Jigawa State? Dr. Bala Usman Chamu, this question goes to you. It's like he's no more on the studio. Ya salam.
Hello. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Dr. Bala.
Hello.
Dr. Bala Usman Chamu, do you? Alaikum salam.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Alaikum salam.
Yeah. I think I appreciate the question. I think it's appreciate the I think as a focal part of the social investment program of Jigawa State, and also national chairman of the focal person forum, the country, if we are to leave the stage now, we should have something to tell our younger ones about the little contribution we made in the development of our state. Jigawa happens to be the poorest, as I said earlier on, at the World Bank level. We also realized, as I said as well, we took that level as a challenge. And when I came on board, I arranged my team. I said, please, what can we do people to bring the state out of this level? Initially, take for instance on the Empower program. It is only in Jigawa State that you have local government coordination office for entire government. That was done actually with the purpose to ease the work and to ease the coordination activities in the state. And that translated at the same time in the number of beneficiaries that the state will mobilize and the number of beneficiaries that will benefit from the program. I could remember in 2016, 2017, when the first batch was recruited, when the list was sent, in a particular state, it took them a whole month for even them to organize to send their list back to Abuja for selection and final onboarding. But within few days, 3 to 4 days in Jigawa State, we were able to deal with that issue. That was why when the payment started coming, it's only Jigawa State that has about 98% payment rate in comparison to other states where only 50–60% are being paid among the beneficiaries. That was done actually based on the understanding of our peculiarity and of course our efforts to do the best we could to ensure that our people benefit them all. Look at, for instance, the conditional funds transfer program. It is only in Jigawa State that you have more than 120,000 beneficiaries in only 9 local governments. And because of this effort, we were able and we were allowed the remaining 70%, which is 18 local governments in our respective state. And by implication, this means every cycle more than 1 billion is paid. 1.5 billion is paid to the 9 local governments. And because of that effort we made, and because of the number of beneficiaries that the states draws, many more than 50 states were sent from the national to come and learn what the Jigawa State is doing. So in terms of Empower coverage, we are number 1. In terms of the cash transfer benefit in Nigeria, Jigawa State is number 1. Because in fact, in Jigawa State, we have a political award in general local government Algera with more than 4,600 beneficiaries, which even is, this number is more than the entirety of the beneficiaries, in particular of a state like Gombe, that is not having. So what we actually did was we were able to bow down to the challenge, and we are able to involve every stakeholder to ensure that the state benefits the most from the program, and we are able to also understand that yes, it is only when we come together, it is only when we look back and probably see what can we be our pride by the time we are no longer there. So I think that's the question he asked. If we are to live today as an individual, as I would say, I'm satisfied. Because it is only in Jigawa that you have 100% local government cash transfer program in the entire of the country. And this was actually achieved because of our collective effort to help the states get out of this level of poverty. And we just started. Next week, the payment in the 18 LGA will commence. And in the first instance, we have more than 26,000 beneficiaries. We were added 32,000 beneficiaries. And if you look at the homegrown school feeding program, we are coordinated. It is only in Jigawa State as well that has the largest coverage. We took a lot of time to put our vendors account, to have their data sent to Abuja, And when we took off, we started with more than 2,000 schools, whereas other states were only taking a local government to start their program. And because of our peculiarity and because of our political nature and the expectation of our schools, we felt bound to ensure that all schools start programs simultaneously. So I think from the little contribution we made, I think we can say we have as a group to ensure that maybe on the social investment side, and we are putting forward to the state government to make sure this social investment drive is continued, and that also informs, if I could remember, sorry for the time, and that also what made the state governor
Thank you.
to buy into the Homegrown School program, and to buy also into the
I think you can.
Thank you. So we have, thank you.
You can cut it short now. You answered his question, I think. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think you are on the road. Maybe I will get you out of the studio because we have only, this studio is limited to only 6 persons, and we have question for Dr. Najib A. Gombo, and I will invite him to answer the question. Thank you, Honorable Balachamu. Okay. This question is from Bilyaminu El Idris Sidun Wada. What poverty reduction action reasonable be expected from this new trend of technological advancement in Jigawa, considering the nature of our people who Dr. Najib Gambo? Hello, can you hear me?
No, I can't. I'm unable.
No.
Dr. Najib, did you hear the question?
I'm unable.
No.
Okay. He said, what poverty reduction actions reasonable be expected from this new trend of technological advancement in Jigawa State, considering the nature of our people, whom vast majority of them are not computer literate?
Assalamu alaikum. I think I'm slightly.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
I'm not sure the people of Jigawa computer literate or illiterate. Sorry, can you hear me, please?
Sorry.
Yes, you can hear.
Okay. So what we really
maybe he's referring that people are computer illiterate, I think, but he write computer literacy.
Okay. What we really need is training, access to technology, and mentoring.
Train, access to technology, and mentoring.
You can bear me witness that we have what we call now digital.
You can bear me witness that we have what we call now digital.
I think there is echo somewhere. Can you please mute yourself, Murtala?
I think there is echo somewhere. Can you please mute yourself, Murtala?
Okay, what I'm saying is, regardless of how your brain is, once you are exposed to the technology, the training, as well as the platform, I believe we can overcome most of the problems. So it boils down to training, motivation, access to the technology and the internet. So once we have this, inshallah, we will compete with anyone, anywhere in this world. I hope I've answered your question, please.
Thank you. I think you answered his question. The last question is from Honorable Comrade Musbahu Basirka. He said, as Honorable Bala talk about abundant farmland in Jigawa State and other natural resources, can please Honorable Yusuf come up with a workable solution on how government of Jigawa can be able to make the use of these abundant resources? Honorable Yusuf Megari, this question is to you.
Okay, Madam Murtala, I think you should put your mic on mute to enable me to speak, better. Basarka, the reality is that resources are limited. And for that reason, they should be used, efficiently. And our land is now being misused, if I may call it, because it's been degraded by human activity on the land. And secondly, we are not yet adoptive of, modern technology of intensive farming. So for that reason, I think we should take two sectors concurrently. Number one, keep on the agriculture as it is, but then with improvement of modern, system that could make a trade-off between labor-intensive and capital-intensive usage. Because if you mechanize agriculture and you kind of technologically dominate agricultural production in such a way that there isn't room for people to come and work, then it means you are marginalizing some of the people. It's a kind of trade-off you have got to do. So you choose the appropriate technology in agriculture that could utilize the youth that are relatively unemployed there, and then open other sectors like solid minerals, which we have in abundance in Jigawa State, to kind of, create new avenues of producing first and foremost the primary, solid minerals production and some little value addition, if you may, in order to export them and earn foreign income. And then bring that income and distribute it rather, because work has been done, to the youth that have contributed, or to the unemployed people that have contributed. It's the kind of thing that you just have to sit down and create a roadmap for it, and then make it so efficient, or rather initially constructive, and as you go along, you make corrective actions in order to make it workable. So this is just in a piecemeal, if you like, in a nutshell, what I can say about it, because the details are beyond the scope of this particular fora, which is relatively time constrained.
Thank you so much, Baba, Honorable Yusuf Megari. Comrade Mubarak Musbahu Basirka, I hope he has answered your question. I would like to invite Sadiq Ali Ahmad to come up and say his vote of thanks before asking Malam Dr. Abakar Muhammad Sani to give us a closing prayer. This brings us to the end of this important discussion, and I hope our followers on Facebook page enjoy it and they will benefit from it, and it will be available on our page from now up to the end of our existence. And Alhamdulillah, thank you so much, the discussant. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Baba Yusuf Maigari. Thank you, Honorable Dr. Nuruddin Muhammad. Thank you, Honorable Bala Chamu. Thank you, Malam Abakar Burnun Kudu. Thank you, Honorable Dr. Najib A.A. Gambo. Sadiq Ali Ahmad, you can give us a vote of thanks and ask Malam to close the session with prayers. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, let me start by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the ability to discharge this duty that we have been thinking of doing, I think, for the past 6 months. And for the speakers or the discussant, we are very grateful, and we hope, inshallah, very soon we will all meet and see how we will progress from what we have said, what you just discussed, to see how we make it live to action, because I think we just make the discussion, and there are a lot of suggestions that we need to have you on board to see how we can have like a collaboration to see we make all these things to reality, not to keep it as we have a discussion, a 2-hour presentation, and it is all. Thank you very much once again, and thanks for your time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and make it the best. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you, guide you, and protect you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Malam Abubakar Sheikh, Doctor, over to you for the closing prayer.
صلوا على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower his bounties and mercy upon Jigawa state and make it greater than it is. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will join the hands of all people to put all hands on deck in order to see the development of Jigawa state and the cooperation, the unity that is required and needed from all of us to promote Jigawa state to a higher level. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we implore, we ask, we supplicate to you to shower your bounties and mercy upon all of us and make us successful in all our endeavors. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة. سبحان ربك رب العزة أما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.